Okay, these are notes for Scantron Test Prep 4. And today we're going to look at rounding and comparing numbers. So let's start with example 1. And it asks us to round to the nearest billion. So when we're given a number, just copy this down. I'm making it up as I go. And we see a large number and it has a lot of digits. We don't need to get overwhelmed. We'll need to find the billionth place though. And so when we look at our place value chart, it takes us from ones, tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000s, 100,000s, millions, 10 millions, 100 millions, billions. So if it asks me to round to the nearest billions, I'm going to underline where I'm supposed to round to, and then I'm going to use an arrow to point to the number that I'm going to use to help me round. And I'm not going to worry about any of the other digits in the number. So I look at this 8 and I remember that 5 and above will allow me to round up. So I will take this number to 48 billion. Okay, so another type of problem will be to round to the nearest whole number. So that means I have a number that has a decimal. So here are your whole number side. This is your decimal side. So if I'm rounding to the nearest whole number, that'll put me here on the whole number side. And then I'll use my arrow to see if I'll need to round up or stay the same. So I look at the 0, and if it's below 5, then I don't make any changes to the whole number. So that'll leave me with 27. And if you want, you can add in the decimal and zeros. That doesn't change the value. They're just placeholders. Okay, another type of problem it'll give you is what could the possible number be when looking at two numbers, what number will be in between? So if I have a 6 is less than unknown number y, and that will be less than 7. What could this y be? And on this test prep, it will give you some answer choices. So maybe we have a -6, a 0, 8.5, and 6/7. Okay, so -6 is very small. It's much smaller than this +6, so it would not go in between. 0 is also smaller than the 6, so we can cancel that out. And this was supposed to not be 8.5. It was supposed to be 6.5 when I wrote my sample earlier, because 6.5 will go between the 6 and the 7. Don't let this fraction throw you off. If you need to, you can change it to a decimal just to prove to yourself it will also not fit here. Remember, a fraction is a division problem. So 6 divided by 7 gives me a decimal. That keeps going on. We'll just do 3.857. But still, you can see that it is 0 whole numbers, and so that would be less than that 6 as well. Okay, then they'll have another type of problem that says 52% is equal to what? And they say, I think they put y in there. And they'll give you some answer choices, and all of the answer choices are in fractions. So all you have to do is change your percent to a fraction. So to do this, we remember that percent means out of 100. So we'll write 52 over 100. That's 52 out of 100. And now all we have to do is reduce this or simplify our fraction. So when I look at this, I notice they're both even. So I know that even numbers are divisible by 2. So when I divide 52 by 2, I get 26, and 100 divided by 2 will give me a 50. Now I'm not done because I noticed they're still both even, so we'll have to divide by 2 again. And now we end up with 13 over 25. And 13 is prime, and so this cannot be further reduced, and that's our final answer. And the last example will give us a series of numbers that we'll need to put in order from least to greatest. So let's jot some down. Okay, and what we need to remember when we're putting numbers in order least to greatest, especially if it involves negative numbers, is that in negative world, bigger is really smaller. This particular type of problem asks you to put them in order from greatest to least. So the largest number I see is this positive 500. Okay, and then we will go to the positive 78, and then the positive 20. So now I'm in negative world, and I have to say to myself again, remember, in negative world, bigger is really smaller. So the very smallest will be this very biggest. So there's the 6 and 5 and 4. And now they're order from least to greatest.